All right, this is Joe. This is upper quadrant manual muscle testing. I've got Jenny here with me helping me out. We're going to start with cervical flexion. In order to test cervical flexion, Jenny's arms need to be crossed on her and relaxed in front of her. Her traps need to be relaxed, which they are. And then I'm going to palpate in this area as she flexes her neck. Go ahead and raise your head up. That's good. We're looking for neck flexion. So let's run through that range of motion a couple times. Okay, one. That's good. So now I'll have her come up again, and I'll apply resistance through her forehead. If she can resist fully, that's a grade 5. If there's any amount of break, that's a 4. If she breaks immediately, that's a 3. If she can move, if she can perform the range of motion on her own without resistance, that's a grade 2. If the muscle fires without resistance, but no movement, that's a grade 1. And if there's no muscle firing, that's a grade 0. That's cervical flexion. Okay, for this next one, we're testing shoulder abduction, specifically the medial deltoid. So as Jenny abducts her arm, just raises it out to the side. I'm going to stabilize her shoulder here, and I'm going to palpate her deltoid here. So go ahead and perform that range of motion a couple times. Yep. All right, and raise your arm. We're going to do resistance. If Jenny can fully resist, that's a grade 5. If there's any amount of break as I resist, that's a grade 4. If she breaks immediately, that's a grade 3. And then we'll do the gravity reduced version in just a second. So this is shoulder abduction grade 0 through 2. In order to test here, we'll have Jenny go through the same range of motion. We'll just test the range. Again, feeling her medial deltoid. If she can perform this range of motion on her own, that's a grade 2. If she can fire the muscle without movement, that's a grade 1. And if there's no firing of the muscle, that is a grade 0. Okay, so next we're going to test scapular elevation, which the muscle involved here is the upper trapezius. I'm going to palpate the upper trapezius on the lateral side of the clavicle as she raises her shoulder. You can actually have your arm to your side. Go ahead and raise your shoulder. Okay, and we'll have you turn your head this way. Do that a couple times. All right, you can clearly do that. Now, when Jenny raises her shoulder, go ahead and raise your shoulder with your head turned. I'm going to apply resistance forward on her head in the opposite direction of her shoulder and down. If she can resist here fully, that's a grade 5. If there's any amount of break, that's a grade 4. If she if she breaks immediately upon resistance, that's a grade 3. Now we're going to do grade 0 through 2 of scapular elevation. So it's the same muscle, the upper trapezius. I'm going to have Jenny raise her shoulder like a shoulder shrug. If she can perform that motion on her own, that's a grade 2. If she can't and the muscle fires, that's a grade 1. If there's no movement and no muscle activity, that's a grade 0. All right, next we're going to test elbow flexion. So let's just have Jenny. Jenny, can you flex your elbow? Yeah, like that, like doing a bicep curl. We can test 3 muscles here. We can test the biceps brachii, the brachioradialis, and the brachialis muscle here, just by using different arm positions. So we'll do that and I'll demonstrate each one. But let's start with biceps brachii. Go ahead and let's run through that range of motion a couple times. I'm going to stabilize her shoulder here, and then as her elbow is flexed, I'll apply resistance away. If she can resist fully, that's a grade 5. If there's any amount of break, that's a grade 4. If she breaks immediately, that's a grade 3. And we'll get to grade 0 through 2 in a second. But so with the bicep, her arm is supinated. If she's half supinated, we can just run through that same motion. We'd be testing the bicep, the brachioradialis, which is kind of up in her armpit. And if her arm is fully pronated, we'd be testing the brachioradialis at the bottom of her arm. Okay, so for grade 0 through 2 elbow flexion, Jenny is seated again, but this time her shoulder is abducted, and we'll test flexion along the table to remove gravity from the situation. So if Jenny can flex her elbow on the table on her own, that's a grade 2. If she can't move her arm, but there's muscle activity in her bicep here, that's a grade 1. If she can't fire her muscle, that's a grade 0. And then roll credits.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
That's it.
That was fast.
Yeah, we got through it.
Yeah.